For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live in downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. We're going to go over the college basketball card in about 15 minutes. ESPN made a list today of only 8 teams that can win it all. Do you agree? Do you disagree? We'll get that around here. More on the card tonight and this weekend with professional sports bettor Paul Stone. He's on X at Paul Stone Sports. It's also the name of his podcast as well, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. Good afternoon, pal. How are you today?
Doing well, man. Glad to be talking college basketball with you guys, and we're on the eve of March 1st, so let the madness begin.
Do I have this right? You and your wife, Abby, recently celebrated your 25th wedding anniversary?
We sure did. 2 days ago on Wednesday, February 26th. We had been married 25 years, so we got married on February 26th, year 2000. So, Mitch, as long as I know what year it is, I always know what number of anniversary.
It's simple math for you. Oh. When you got married, what was the yes, no? What were those odds to make it 25 years?
You know, we talked about that off the record. I'm pretty sure my wife is not listening. I'm not going to, I'll make a number on anything, sometimes in poor taste, but I'm going to pass on this one just from the standpoint of preservation. But,
there you go.
Marriage is a challenge. A lot like handicapping, a lot of ups and downs. A lot of times you feel really good and other times not so good. And you just keep grinding. So, 25 years. She's a good lady.
How about this? I'll be married 15 years come late March. Jimmy Vaccaro made it 18 months. He told me,
what a number.
That's the number. You're not going to make it past 18 months.
Wow.
I respect Jimmy, but I actually probably at the time would have said, yeah, you might be onto something there. But soared past that one. Okay, college basketball tonight. We talked about this in the first hour. It hasn't been pretty when UCLA leaves for the Northeast, nor has it been good when they go to the Midwest, with like maybe one exception. They're now catching 6 tonight here at Circa. Other books have 5.5 on the road at Purdue. What is your thought here? What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, clearly, Mick Cronin made it quite evident a few weeks ago that he doesn't like that travel schedule in the coast-to-coast Big Ten, and I don't blame him. I don't have a huge opinion here. I bet what I would call a cheese pizza bet on Purdue at -5.5, but certainly not a large bet, just something, I guess, to whet the appetite for tomorrow's larger card.
Okay. He's in second place in the contest. Catch it every Friday night, Saturday morning. Everyone loves picks, and he's 7-3 so far. And 2-0 with the best bets. A couple of picks and a couple of games he likes Saturday. SEC. All right. How about some dogs? How about your big boy? This was 5.5. It's come down. What do you think of Auburn going to Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky's obviously been playing until this past game, had been playing without their point guard, Lamont Butler, and their shooting guard, Jackson Robinson. Both those guys, however, have returned from injury. Both played in the Cats' 83-82 victory the other night at Oklahoma. Butler only played 20 minutes before fouling out. Robinson played 12 minutes. But I do think that these guys' minutes and roles will be incrementally increased as we progress along their recovery. Kentucky has been really good when both have been in the lineup. They beat Florida earlier this year. They're in Lexington 106-100 in early January. They also swept the season series with Tennessee against Tennessee. Didn't have Butler in one of those games, didn't have Robinson in another. So I'm really going to like this Kentucky team when both these guys are available. I do think they're both going to be available tomorrow against Auburn, an Auburn team closing in on the SEC regular season title. But I like Kentucky plus 4.5. They're at home in Lexington over the Tigers.
All right, another dog. Vandy off the big win. Can they keep it going, catching 2.5 against Missouri?
This Vandy team, obviously a lot of teams kind of have that home-road dichotomy, Paul, and Vanderbilt certainly in that class. 14-2, they're at Nashville. And I just love that awkward home floor set up where you have the opposing benches on the opposite baselines. That's always been unique and neat. But the Commodores, they've been good at home again, already defeated both Tennessee and Kentucky there in Nashville. You look at Joe Lunardi's latest version of bracketology. He's got Missouri as a 5 seed, has Vanderbilt as a 10 seed. So Missouri certainly has more wiggle room going into this weekend. So perhaps we have a little bit more of a sense of urgency, if you will, with Vanderbilt. These teams met earlier in the year there in Columbia, Missouri. Missouri won that game 75-66, but Vanderbilt only trailed by 1 with less than 5 minutes remaining. If Vanderbilt can defend that three-point line, defend Caleb Grill, Missouri's marksman from three-point territory, I think they get the victory tomorrow. I like Vanderbilt plus 2.5 over Missouri.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest is professional sports bettor Paul Stone. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Before we get into the Arkansas-South Carolina game, do you pay attention to like sites and their projections on these games, like Ken Pom and Bart Torvix and the Eric Haslam's of the world, maybe some others as well, before you make your numbers at all? Do you get into that? Because they have them up days in advance, as you know.
Yeah, Ken Pom certainly does. Yep. And I've used Ken Pom through the years and continue to use them as kind of a starting point. And then I look at a guy named Sonny Moore who has power ratings that are just available with a free Google search. And then I use my own power ratings. But this time of year, you're going to be pretty close to what Ken Pom puts up in advance. So I kind of use my own unique mixture and usually get pretty close to the numbers on the games.
Okay, so I asked that because looking at the Arkansas-South Carolina game on his site, Ken Pom has Arkansas by 2. I haven't seen a point spread out there on this game. I'm guessing that you have. How would you attack it?
I have not seen. I'm going by Ken Pom's line on this game, which is 2. So I'm going by what you've said. I think that's going to be close. I think Arkansas is going to be favored by 2.5 or less, but will be the favorite. And first of all, you look at this South Carolina team. They're 1-14 in SEC play, so they're not going dancing anywhere this March. Their season's probably coming to an end in 3 or 4 more games. But you look at this. I'll say this. Let me back up. As handicappers, that certainly doesn't mean because they're 1-14 that we turn a blind eye to a team like that. This is a team that is a different team, much like Vanderbilt. They are a different team on their home floor. They got their first home victory this past Saturday, February 22nd, beat Texas 84-69, pretty much went coast to coast with that victory. But looking at their previous 5 games at home, which were obviously all defeats, they played the quintet of Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Florida, and Auburn. They lost 1 of those 5 games in overtime, lost the other 4 by 4 points or fewer. So those are some really good basketball teams. They've been playing really well on their home floor there in Columbia. And then looking at Arkansas, one of their top scorers, 15-point-a-game scorer, true freshman Boogie Fland. He was lost for the year, more than likely lost for the year in mid-January. So they've been playing without him for a few weeks. And now their top scorer and rebounder, forward Adu Thero, he missed their last game. Questionable for this game, uncertain whether he's going to play, but he averages 15.6 points a game, 6 rebounds a game. And just remember to look at that SEC student-athlete availability report, supposed to be available tonight at 8:10 p.m. Eastern. That's 5:10 on the West Coast. We'll be looking at his availability.
How is your futures portfolio looking for the madness?
Yeah, I've got a few tickets off the top of my head. I've got Michigan State at 40-1. I took Florida a few weeks ago when they were still in double digits at 11-1. And I've got St. Mary's just a little bit over 100-1. So that's what I've got as far as tickets to win it all. I've also got a long shot ticket that I took before the season even started. Took McNeese State at 500-1 at Westgate. And now I'm seeing them, I think, at 1,000-1 there at Circa. So I missed the best price there. But if they win a couple of games, I'll be in a position to hedge with that ticket.
Sure. 7-3 in the contest, 2-0 in your best bet so far. Do you primarily go with picks like out of the Power 4/5 conferences, or are you like all over the country?
Maybe not all over the country, but I certainly like my best bet 1 week was Tarleton State in the Western Athletic Conference. They have a contingent of Texas teams in that conference, so I follow it closely. Mostly regional conferences and the power conferences, but I certainly don't focus just on the power ones. I do stray away. I had a pick on Campbell, I think, a couple of weeks ago as well. So, yeah, do look at some of the smaller teams in the contest.
Very good. You can follow Paul on X. He's at Paul Stone Sports. That's also the name of his podcast. 7-3 in the Friday night contest here at Circa with Matt Humans and Jonathan Von Tobel. Again, 2-0 with his best bets. Good luck tonight and this weekend in the contest, Paul. Thank you for the time.
Hey, appreciate being on, and you guys have a great weekend. Hope everybody has a great March Madness.
There you go. He was on the Progressive guest line.
Don't take a swing in the dark. Stick up to the plate. Prepared with VSiN's MLB betting guide. Great stuff from Burke. Tips how to bet baseball. Stats glossary help you break down key analytics. Awards market. And how to evaluate pitchers from Jensen Lewis. I'm a VSiN Pro subscriber today as low as $9.99. Get your copy of the guide today. VSiN.com/subscribe. Team previews, win total predictions, and the awards as well. And Burke strong on the Royals under. Check it all out. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get up now, $9.99.
Well, there's another person with a big ticket on St. Mary's anyway, triple digits. Watch what the committee will do to them in the first round. Right? You're going to see this pop, and don't be surprised if a team like that, if they would get like a 6 or even a 5, and like the 11 or the 12 would have a very high, like it'd be the highest rated, power rated team to be an at-large.
Or they might go mid-major against mid-major.
They could do that to eliminate one of them. They do it every year now.
They did that last year, yeah.
Yeah, rather than giving them a test against somebody else. But best St. Mary's team under Randy Bettor ever? They swept Gonzaga.
That big guy, Sam Ham, what was his name? Didn't they go Sweet 16, Elite 8? They were pretty good.
They were really good.
They've been awesome since conference play started, no doubt.
ESPN has a list of only 8 teams that can win it all. Agree or disagree? We will tell you that list next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
A lot of news today in the association. We'll go over the card, player props, numbers we like, who's in, who might be out tonight coming up in 15 minutes. ESPN put together a list. They have every single team in the country. They have 8 teams that can win it. They have 22 near misses. And then they have the other 300-plus teams without a path to win the entire thing. Here are the 8 teams ESPN says can win the national title. Alabama, Auburn, Duke, Florida. That's 3 SEC teams so far. Houston. They have Iowa State.
No.
If they could ever get healthy, that might be a big if. They have St. John's.
All right.
East Coast bias? Question mark?
No, they're good. It's Patino.
And they have Tennessee. So they have 4 teams out of the SEC. And DraftKings put up that prop earlier this week, plus 120 SEC versus the field to win the whole thing. And the SEC was plus money. We
had the NC State run. We had a Loyola Chicago run. We had a VCU run. We had Butler back-to-back years.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't win it, but they were close.
So the first team that you would draw a line through would be Iowa State.
Yes. And then Tennessee.
Just because you don't trust the shooting?
Yeah. The offense and the coach. Yes.
Yeah.
Although they had an Elite 8 run last year. But Connect was great, and they did a good job. But they ran into Purdue.
Who are they missing from the list?
Texas Tech? Wisconsin? They can score. They can shoot.
I think Wisconsin has to get the right draw.
All right.
You can say that about a lot of these teams. Can Arizona win the whole thing?
God, I don't like their coach.
They have them as a near miss.
They have been so bad in these big games. They were awful against Clemson. They lost in the first round to Princeton. They had to go to overtime to beat TCU. These are good seeds, mind you, 1-2 seeds.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I would look at. And again, it's gonna depend on the draw, and you know this because it happens every single year. There will be a bracket or a region that comes out that is the bracket of death. and there will be another bracket that comes out that is completely weak, by far the weakest one. Hello, Duke, being number one in that region. And then everything else is going to be in between. So, like, when I say that about, like, Wisconsin, it's going to depend on their draw. If they were to land, let's say that they were the 2 somehow, and St. John's was the 3 seed, I don't think I like that draw for Wisconsin. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that they would get beat up, and I think defense would overtake what they've done offensively and who they are on that side of the court overall. They have Kansas as a near miss. Yeah, I would say thanks for checking in, Captain Obvious.
They're terrible on the road.
UConn is a near miss.
You're going to be an 8 seed, like, best case.
Did you see Lenardi's bracket that came out today? People would be making a big deal out of this potential matchup. Duke as the 1, the 8 seed in their region would be UConn.
See, they're losing games and they're not dropping. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. They have Michigan State as a near miss.
Well, what do you think? They're 8.
I
trust Izzo more than Barnes and Iowa State.
Does their lack of shooting overtake how much you trust Izzo?
No, they can muck it up.
Yeah, but it goes back to what Stanford Steve was saying earlier. They're gonna, if they play an SEC team, all these teams in the SEC, they can score. Mm-hmm. And you have to win 6 games. I don't think mucking it up for 6 games is going to be good enough for them.
You down on A&M? You've had enough?
I don't want to completely write them off, but
Clemson's hot.
Clemson's good.
Clemson made a run last year.
By the way, how does that guy not get more credit for being a really good head coach?
Right. How about Michigan?
Yeah, they can be dangerous. I like to look at, again, this is why it comes out of the bracket, but I want to, like, in my mind, these teams that I would consider to make a Final Four run, and then if you can make the Final Four, clearly you can win the whole thing. I bet Missouri 13-1 to win the Final Four. They've had a loss since then. It was, okay, fine. They play, great teams in the SEC every single night.
Yeah.
They're a projected 5 seed. But if I have a bet on them to make the Final Four, then clearly I think a team like Missouri can win the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Their resume is so impressive. Some of their wins are phenomenal. And I can't that to me is worth noting. But they have St. Mary's as a near miss. Gonzaga is a near miss as well.
Gonzaga near miss?
Yeah. Again, I don't.
What? Torvik's got them top 15 team. They got a tough game tomorrow in San Francisco, but I mean, it's like, what are you looking at? They haven't done anything in 2 months, 3 months.
I guess it just must be their overall offensive numbers that outweighs pretty much most of it. By the way, here's what ESPN wrote about St. John's. See if you agree with this. It goes without saying that the offense has issues. The Red Storm rank 8th in the Big East in offensive efficiency, sitting last in 3-point percentage, as well as next to last in free throw percentage and 2-point percentage. They have made double-digit threes in only 1 game since Thanksgiving. The historical comparisons for their shooting numbers aren't kind to their Final Four aspirations. Here's why St. John's landed on our list, though. The combination of arguably the best college basketball coach of his generation and an elite defense will help the Red Storm in games. 4 of their losses have been by a combined, in fact, check that. Their 4 losses overall, that's all they have, by a combined 7 points.
We've been over it. They blew several of those games.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with the last part of that.
I would be dancing if they make the Final Four.
We also have to love the fact that this is set up for great coaches, where it's, okay, we won, and now no time to scout. Quick turnaround. The game's in less than 48 hours, your next opponent, right? Yep. And Patino would eat that up. Remember, at Iona, he was tied at halftime against UConn. They blew out everyone that year. And they eventually blew out Iona, but at least it was tied at halftime. The guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no kidding. And that UConn team was loaded with college players anyway with that talent. The numbers for tomorrow. So Auburn opened up 5.5 at Kentucky, has since come down a little bit. Do you agree with that move? Would you want to play Kentucky if you can go back and grab the 5.5 here?
Well, the thinking is Auburn's already a 1 seed, but I can't. I recommended Ole Miss the other day. It's just a blowout. I mean, it's just I can't get in front of this freight train.
No, they're a machine.
No, not to mention Player of the Year stuff and how Pearl has them ready to go. I thought Barkley was great. That we're gonna have a big edge every time they take the floor. And what a luxury it is to just dump it down to the big guy and get a bucket anytime you want.
Now this game could go under by 25 points. I can't bet the under.
Yeah, 167 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I could see this game easily being played in the 170s.
Yes. Yep.
Bama at Tennessee. Tennessee opened up 3.5. That total 155.5. I'm looking at projection sites. They have Tennessee winning 3, 4, 5 points. So it's right around the number, obviously, which makes sense. Bama's on this pretty awesome run right now.
Mm-hmm.
But home court means quite a bit in college basketball.
Yeah. I like Bama in that game.
You do?
Yes.
You take a little bit of money line?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you expect Florida to bounce back in a big way against a reeling A&M team?
Yes, I do.
So do I.
Finally come out and play a good first half. That's the key. Jump on them early. They've been struggling. Stop with the slow starts. You're a good team. Jump on them early.
8.5 was the first number I saw in that game.
Uh-huh. How about Iowa State laying 4.5 at home to Arizona?
I think it's moved down, actually, because the first number I saw was 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
So, 5.5 is still out there. I'd like Arizona. Would you not?
Yes.
I like Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're good. Again, I kind of agree with you. I don't know if they can win the whole thing, but overall, pretty solid and catching that many points. I'm intrigued by that.
Kansas 3.5 to Texas Tech.
I could not lay that with Kansas.
No, I know.
Couldn't do it.
Another good card.
Do you want to take 8.5 with San Francisco at home to Gonzaga? Bart Torvik has it a 5-point game.
Wow, it's sad. It's interesting because it's considered a neutral, but because it's at the Chase Center, but the first meeting was tied at halftime or close at halftime. Yeah, I think that's too many points.
All right. Well, G-Bank, what would be the best bet of the games we just talked? Bama plus the points, or Florida bounce back?
You pick.
We'll go Bama.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Take the 3.5. Let's do that. Sounds good. Best bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VEASAN. G-Bank up in the ante with a $750 bonus for a new G-Bank Visa signature card. New customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening get a $250 bonus. And if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account opening, you get another $500 bonus. So a $750 bonus. Apply now. VEASAN.com/G-Bank. VEASAN.com/G-Bank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
I just think that if Patino would go that far again, I think that would help. I mean, the ratings, for the tournament would, in New York, with that market, and this guy is the head coach, I'm in. Don't disappoint us, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Fresno State's in action tomorrow. What do you want to do with that?
Well,
guys getting kicked off the team. And
you know what I want to do? I want to read stories about the team and people who cover them.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry to go back to this for one more second. Yeah. Patino told the reporter back in 2019, I could go to St. John's and turn it around immediately. We could win games and we can get the Garden hopping again.
He said that?
Yeah.
Where was he at the time? Was he out of Bath?
Was he in Greece?
Okay, that makes sense.
I firmly believe he could go to, if he had enough time. Like if he would have stayed at Iona, he would have turned Iona into Gonzaga. Or, a version of it.
Uh-huh.
That's how good I think the guy is.
Can't argue.
There is a lot of news to get into tonight for the NBA card, player props, moving numbers. We'll touch on it all next year on VEASAN.
This is Follow the Money on VEASAN.
Loaded card tonight in the NBA, but Pauly, I want to bring this up. We talked about it last week when you were out. JBT was in, and that is if you were to bet the NBA full time, right? Like you're going to be a pro bettor. You were going to concentrate on this sport. You weren't going to hop in after the football season. Like you were doing it from October, the entire thing, right? Like that's the only thing that you can really do. I don't think that you can really pay attention to other sports. A day like today is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Going back and forth on Twitter accounts, trying to find out who's in, who's out, who's probable, doubtful. Do we have news? The list is like endless for these games tonight. So here's what we know regarding the Lakers.
Yeah. We got to be on top of it, though, too, in advance. I texted you last night. I go, listen, Denver's on a back-to-back tomorrow against the hot Pistons. There's a good chance Joker doesn't play, or they can't be favored. And it went from +1 to -2. Favorite flipped -2, and now it's come back, though. But then another example was because the Lakers, what were they going to do back-to-back?
Sure.
And this is a mess what's going to happen tonight. We've had a 5-point move in the Clipper game, and now money coming back in on the Lakers.
Yeah, this got up to 5.5 for the Clippers not that long ago. Now down to 4 in the game. Hachimura is officially out. LeBron James, questionable. That's within the last hour. Luka, injury management, also questionable for the game tonight.
I can't imagine he plays. Why would he play? coming off that injury and out till December. I would think Luka sits. I wouldn't be surprised if the old man plays, and he's been awesome. In any event, I want Reeves props. All you can eat. Reeves has been awesome.
Had 23 last night.
Yep.
Jackson Hayes, by the way, also questionable. Are they going to have enough bodies here in this game?
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, Norman Powell was also, where are my notes here?
Yeah, he's questionable
He's questionable as well, yeah.
It's a tough one. So it's been, this is when it started, right? They didn't even have Luka yet. And Davis was out, and they went into a dome and destroyed the Clippers who were playing great ball. The game was over in the first quarter. They got whatever they wanted. Then they went to the Garden and pounded the Knicks, and that's when LeBron had the triple-double. And it's like, wow, is this why they're playing so well? What's even AD's out? Then they got Luka, and now there's talk. The talk is, are they contenders? Are they right there with OKC? So that started it when they blew them out. And since the Clippers have been in free fall, and they also play Sunday here too, back-to-back games at Crypto with this matchup, the Battle of LA. So if they're both out, it's all about Reeves. If it's just LeBron, I want Reeves. But it's Reeves everything over if both of them are out.
Yeah, you want the PRA.
Because you don't have Hachimura either. So you're looking right now, 23 the points. He's $1.20 to have 5 rebounds. He's $1.05 to have 6 assists. And this guy was playing. Remember, they both were out. I don't know if they had Luke at the time. Yeah, they both were out. They played Indiana at home. Reeves did something only 6 other Lakers in history have done when they blew out Indiana in that matinee
That's
game.
right. Yep.
So
you can still find 21.5 for him tonight.
Good number.
For what it's worth, he is 36-16 under on the daily NBA player prop analyzer at vsin.com under that number, but he's hit that number he's gone over that number 3 of his last 4 games. So you're right. If this is no Luka tonight, he's going to play mid to high 30s minutes, and he's going to have the ball in his hands, and the usage is going to be probably off the charts in this spot.
Not only tonight, if he plays, and also Sunday, though, moving forward, you have to continue to bet Luka props under with the points and the 3-pointers. He has gone over his point prop once and his 3-point prop once.
Can't shoot all of a sudden.
And the only 3-pointer he made was the incredible shot in front of the fans on the sideline. Is the clock 1 of 9 from 3, 1 of 7, 4 of 9, 1 of 9, 3 of 8, 1 of 7. Points 21, 19, 32, 14, 16, 14, 14. The only over was that great performance in Denver.
On the flip side, for the Clippers and attacking player props, James Harden on the year, I'll point this out, he's 42-13 under his PRA, points, rebounds, and assists, when that number is where it's at. Correction, he's 42-13 under 3.5 made threes, but he's over that number in 3 of his last 5. And I said this yesterday on the show. Based on what Kyrie Irving did the first game, right? He was attacking the Lakers defensively because Reeves, James, Luka, questionable with how good that's going to be when those 3 guys are on the court. So I wanted to go to war with Anthony Edwards last night. I did. It was a loser. He got kicked out in the third quarter, though, ejected. Harden's recent form with the points, rebounds, and assists, he's soaring over 40, and it's 37.5. He's finally playing, like I would say, his best basketball of the entire year.
Well, this is something, too, that's going to help your cause. This is pack the paint, give up a lot of threes. They can beat us from the outside, what Redick's doing. So.
That's right. They have allowed, this goes back to, I think, so they've had the number 1 defense in the league since the middle of January. In that time, they've also allowed the 3rd most 3-point attempts because that's their game plan. Just go ahead and shoot. We're not going to let you get anything down low. And based on that, Harden again, over 3.5 made threes in 3 of his last 5 games, and his plus money tonight. He's going to be taking a lot of shots.
Great doubleheader on TV, big one.
The first one is...
What do you think? I like the Cavs. I'm not going against the Cavs. And jump on it now before I move. The breaking news, Porzingis out, Holiday out, Brown questionable. So I like, and the money's coming in on the Cavs. When do you see Boston this short of a home favorite? Again, they've won 12 of 13. They've been blowing out good teams. Their record since they acquired Hunter, you hit on it, and it's a much bigger game for Cleveland. Much bigger game.
I would agree.
Boston knows we'll be the 2 seed, that's fine. The 1 seed essentially over, especially if they win tonight. They're 1-2 this year against the Celtics. It didn't look pretty the last meeting. The score was misleading. They lost at home to Boston, but Pick them now. I like the Cavs, and I'm not getting in front of the Cavs the way they're playing right now. Number one offense in the league.
Yeah, Boston up to 2.5 earlier in the day, but that's because we thought that guys like Porzingis might actually play. And then, nope. And then Drew Holiday ruled out as well, and Brown's still going to be questionable until a little bit later on today. And so hence the pick in this game. I did bet when it looked like, I didn't even know Holiday was going to miss the game tonight. It looked like Brown had a decent chance of missing. I bet Derek White over 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I've gone to battle with him a lot so far this year, doing it again tonight. And that number has since moved because of the guys who are out in this spot here for the Celtics. But I totally agree. Isn't this the game or down the line, the series, the reason why you went out and got Hunter at the deadline?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Specifically here for the Celtics.
Exactly right. Yep. Totally agree. You want to get in front of the Pistons? 8 in a row? Nuggets on a back-to-back? Last night, that was the Denver team that's going nowhere. Gordon couldn't make a shot. Porter was smelling himself. Porter should never take 22 shots in a game.
Yeah.
He was 5 of 22. Westbrook couldn't make a shot. That was just, okay, well, Joker can do his thing, but his other guys can't make a shot or go off. Good luck. And they were pathetic, just like they were in that Saturday night game at home against the Lakers. So a nice win for Milwaukee, and again, Freak was great too, but this was up to 2, and now it's pick 'em. And now Denver back, now it was a 1-point favorite. They're playing games with this one. I thought people would sit. Apparently that's not the case.
Yeah, because Denver's now the favorite in that game. Going back to the game last night and how well Freak plays against Joker and vice versa. Our buddy Chad Andrus tweeted this out, and I agree. It's a shame that we're never going to see Freak versus Joker in the finals.
Yeah.
I would love to see it because I think all those games would be super entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that standpoint, I think the games you're going to get your money's worth for 2.5 hours up and down the court.
Yep. What do you want to do? Is this Sixers part 2 with the Suns? Lost last night to the Pelicans. Zion with his first triple-double. Oh. Coach Budenholzer implored Devin Booker to stop being as vocal on court and in huddle during timeouts so the coach's voice could be heard. They lose again.
No Beal.
They're 4 back. Beal out. Allen doubtful. Yes. I can't. Maybe they blow out the Pelicans. I can't. They can't stand each other. This team just wants the season to get over.
No, I'm not.
They're done. They're 4 games out of the 10. It's over. They're done.
I think they tried to make one last stand against Memphis.
Yeah, probably
to see if they can get the run together. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then make a charge down the stretch, and they blew that game over and over and over again.
Yep.
I can't make a case. Either the 76ers or the Suns are fade material or stay away from the entire rest of the year. I'm not betting either one of those teams.
I like Memphis tonight. Robinson was supposed to play. Now he's a game-time decision. Cat is questionable, and this is revenge. People are going to play, and the Knicks put it on them in the first meeting. I think Memphis takes out the Knicks tonight.
Hey, let me give you one more.
I don't think they'll get any stops.
I think this is going to catch you off guard. So Sabonis has been our guy. Just make 1 3.
Yeah.
Dennis Schroeder.
Right.
It's half a three-pointer tonight is the prop. Minus 210 territory. He is 35-6 over that on the year.
Get out of here.
VSiN.com.
You're kidding.
Swear to God.
All right. Good find.
Unless
he's our new Sabonis. All right.
35-6, that's going to catch anybody's attention.
Wow. Just to make a 3.
That's what it says on the site. And I went back and looked at the game log that they have there, too. So
yeah, I believe you. Take it easy. Ready to get in on the action? First Bet has you covered. Sign up now. Exclusive promotions. Bet on hundreds of great horse races every day. Right from your phone or computer. Visit First Bet. Use promo code VSiN200. Score a 20% rebate on all your wagers for the first 60 days. Up to $200. Don't miss out. Start betting today. FirstBet.com.
Up next, we'll get into a little bit of NFL news that we had today. In fact, we had more than a little. Stafford, the decision there. What's next for the Giants? What does that mean for the Raiders? What about the Steelers? What about the NFL draft? We will kick it around here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We do have some college basketball going on as we speak. In the Ivy, at halftime, Yale trails Dartmouth 35-29. Harvard's on top of Brown 33-27 also at the half. Yale was laying 7.5 or 8 in this game. Stanford Steve an hour ago said he loves his team, but he would love to also see them get a loss before the tournament. The first
Ask Auburn.
Yeah. The first team I can recall as a college basketball fan that happening to was the team that I loved in 1996. It was Kentucky. You asked me about them yesterday. They lost to UMass and Marcus Camby early on in the year. They won 27 straight. They made the SEC title game, huge favorites against Eric Dampier and Mississippi State.
Oh, yes.
Got beat going into the tournament. And from that day forward, they said, okay, all right, I guess we screwed around, thought we were too good, and they essentially blew the doors off of almost every single team they played. They beat, I think, in a rematch, they beat UMass by 8 in the Final Four, and I think they beat Syracuse by 9 in the title game. But
Is that John Wallace?
John Wallace, yeah.
That's when college basketball was the nuts.
Oh,
because everyone stuck around.
Oh.
Everyone stuck around. Excuse me. Everyone, yep. Dampier, yeah, you had John Wallace, you had Camby teams, Kentucky. Oh,
Tony Delk was a senior.
Oh.
Walter McCarty was a senior. Antoine Walker came back for his sophomore year. Ron Mercer was awesome. He came back for his sophomore season as well. But so that's the first time I can ever remember that happening. And people always told, do they win the whole thing if they don't blow the title game to Mississippi State? Who the hell knows? So a lot of news today in the National Football League as well. Matthew Stafford and the Rams said, okay, we're gonna run this back, and they agreed to do that. And so he signed there with the Rams, and he's not going to be then going anywhere else. Right? That's now going to be a done deal. You can still get the Rams around 28-1 to win the Super Bowl. Pretty good number.
Yeah.
14-1. It's basically cut right in half, as it typically is the best number out there on them to win the NFC. Paul, they were right there knocking on the door in Philadelphia for the win, and that was to go to the NFC title game.
That is a good number. I agree. And whether it was Sexton, his agent, trying to play a little game here, and Rams going to call his bluff, but I understand where they were coming from, saying you can't have Cousins and Tua get all this money, and I won a Super Bowl. I almost went into Philly and won. Let me eat too. And certainly the Rams wanted them back, but they can't give them a ton of cash with how you're looking at your setup and what you have. But how they closed the season, that young defense, great move. Tough for a fan because it really would have opened the door for a lot of stuff to happen. Like if the Rams, if they couldn't have worked it out, and he goes, whether the Giants thing was real or not, whether he goes to Las Vegas, whether he goes to Pittsburgh, then everyone's on the move now. So now the other thing is these other teams have to pivot. You know, what happens in Pittsburgh, what happens out here, what happens with the Giants. Giants are desperate for a quarterback, whether it's draft, veteran, or both, because you got a head coach and a GM on the hot seat, and they embarrass themselves on Hard Knocks and on the field. So the only guy under contract is Tommy Cutlets. Good luck with that. So now is it Aaron Rodgers? I can't imagine. They want him.
That was their immediate pivot.
Why would Aaron Rodgers? He's going to get killed, number one. And then why are you going to close your season? Going to have a bad year? You're going to be worse than the Jets were if he comes back. You're the worst team in that division by a mile. And then the speculation by several sources are Darnold and or Russell Wilson out here. Wilson, I can't believe, because of the relationship with Carroll, Frosty, and then wanted to get him fired. So that's, and again, if you're Brady, he's got to be livid. I can't imagine Brady, like last resort would probably be Darnold. But I'm sure Brady doesn't want to give him a ton of cash and can't be high on Wilson. Or do you just take Sanders and put him in there from day one? Because I do think he'll be there. So that's the other news today as well. But Rodgers to the Giants is no good for anybody.
Oh, give me a good spot for Rodgers then.
Pittsburgh.
Man, I mean, he's got that entire history of playing outdoors with Green Bay.
It was the Rams, but that's gone. So he's running out of spots.
That's the
thing. Musical chairs. Might be eliminated. Carr, Stain, Stafford, Stain. Raiders don't want him. Purdy, Stain.
Could he pull? Like honestly, could this actually come to fruition where he pulls the full Brett Favre?
Oh God!
Green Bay into the Jets, closes out with the Vikings. If McCarthy is a question mark going into the season, would the Vikings kick the can on that? Playing in a dome.
I don't think so. I think he'd feel better off with Danny Dimes. Actually, I think he'd rather do that. And O'Connell, he can have an ego. He can say, yes, I'll make it work. He just did it.
Okay, but I will say, can we put the odds back up for the Super Bowl? The Vikings are 40-1. If Aaron Rodgers went there, God, I'd bite again.
You'd bite on that?
I'd bite on it.
Wow.
He's got an elite head coach, good defense, awesome defensive coordinator, and can I say this? He will walk into the best weapons he's ever had.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair.
Immediately, day one, bam, better than whatever he had in Green Bay, and certainly, last year pretty solid down the stretch with Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, but still overall, you got Jefferson, you got Addison.
He had weapons, but he couldn't get him to him, whether his poor play and offensive line issues. But.
I need help from you, Paul, because if he were to go to Minnesota, you need to talk me off the ledge.
Yeah. Well,
you can't allow me to hit the button on that.
Well, that'd be easy. That's not a problem.
Can you just grab my phone and throw it in the water?
You don't want any part of that.
I think I do, but I'm saying that don't let me do it. Do not let me bet Minnesota if he goes there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at this. Hey,
sorry, go ahead.
The Rams are behind the Commanders.
Yeah, that's stupid.
The Packers. The 49ers are half the price of the Rams.
Yeah, that can't be.
How? And the Lions.
I think the Rams won the division.
The Lions, with everything they're going through, plus 850. No, thank you, hard pass. Here's who the Rams play on the road next year. Their divisional games along with Atlanta, Baltimore. Those are the road games along with Philadelphia on the road, but then they go at Tennessee. They get the AFC South. The other teams are at home. They get the NFC South. The Saints and the Buccaneers at home. That's a doable schedule next year. That's not Minnesota.
Well, the 49ers are going to have an easy schedule, too, based on where they finished. But that's, again, they get injured every year.
That's true.
That was just a hell of a coaching job by McVay. I mean, they were dead and buried. They were 1-4. So many guys hurt. And then how they came on late and they were such a force and what they're able to do. And then they embarrassed Darnold and the Vikings.
Well,
even with that, they were dealing with the distractions and the fire and everything.
Sure.
Still no problem. And what you said, they went to Philly and had them on the ropes. Yeah, but there's a lot of intrigue, though. A lot of intrigue. How big of a step back do the Niners take? What happens in Detroit? What's that going to look like now without the coordinators? What does Minnesota do? Are the Packers for real? Every time they played a good team, they got their asses kicked. Do the Bears take the step up? Is Washington right there? Does Philly come? Does the streak over? 25 straight years we haven't had a repeat champ in the NFC East.
Right. Is Michael Penix good?
Another one, right?
I mean,
where does Cousins go? Does anyone want him?
How about this? Where does Myles Garrett go? That's a gigantic domino for the entire offseason and potentially the landscape.
They have to trade him. You call Detroit, you call Buffalo. You got to trade him.
People are saying, today I saw this, I think it was on the Rich Eisen show, maybe? Somewhere else. Anyway, the Eagles.
That'd be great.
They were saying, do not let the Eagles get involved here.
Yes, that's right.
Don't even
Roseman could do that.
Don't even get Roseman. Don't even give him breath like anything like that at all. A pulse to make it happen because that guy could.
Yep.
He dominates almost every offseason.
I like the other news, too, that based on the debacle last year with the Giants, nobody wants to do Hard Knocks. So Lombardi told McAfee that he thinks it's going to be North Carolina. And what better TV to watch Belichick coach and teach a class? As Lombardi said, you want someone who can show you how to teach class and how to work and how what goes into this. And who's better than Belichick doing that? That'd be great.
I got to be honest. I think Hard Knocks turned into almost unwatchable territory in recent years. So I haven't even given it a shot. I don't care about it. I think the show started to go downhill big time. If this is going to happen with North Carolina, I'm in.
Totally agree.
I'm back in.
Yep. VSiN fans, your time to plan your Vegas getaway. Derek Stevens offering you 15% off at 3 great properties. Circle Las Vegas, the D Hotel. Do not sleep on the Golden Gate. The history. The Rat Pack used to hang out there and drink. The suites. Don't forget about the penthouse. You got the grill out there. 6 TVs. This sucker's awesome. Unbelievable shower. Top notch. Whether you're hanging by the pool or hanging at the book, book your stay now. CircleLasVegas.com. Code VSiN15. Get 15% off your Vegas adventure starts here. That is perfect for bachelor parties. Well, a group of gals come to town. That's always available. The penthouse at Golden Gate as well, or the suites, which are great. CircleLasVegas.com.
Hey, we have to get ready for this because we're going to have a lot of games that are going to be live starting next week when we're on the air, talking about it from a live betting standpoint. Right now in the money line, Yale down by 6 at halftime. They're about minus 130 to win. You in?
No.
I think I'm going to pull the trigger during the break. I'll see if I can find a better number. More games coming up with college basketball, some projections, marquee games as well on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.